Hello viewer, I'm Father Lokk. Please subscribe and enjoy the programs.
Molly's hand twitched. Nunie, once thought to be imaginary, had taken possession of Molly. She felt icy, and her presence had become very dark as she stared at her parents with bow-mouthed mockery. Her eyes, once sparkling, burned with malevolent glee. Molly's sweet scent of strawberries, her signature smell, turned acrid like sulfur, and it gagged you to tears from the smell of it. "Molly!" Nunie rasped, voice guttural. "We are one now." Panic seized Janice's throat. This wasn't Molly anymore at all. Something wicked twisted her beloved daughter into a grotesque mockery. She tried to scream, but only managed a strangled gasp. Nunie wouldn't let her speak. Her parents, utterly mortified by the contorting of Molly's face and body, they knew they had to act quick. Rushing to the phone to call their parish priest, being of the Catholic faith, they were stopped in their tracks by sheer and utter fear. They found Molly lying flat, trembling, eyes wide, rolled into the back of her head, floating around in her room. "Oh my God!" Janice screamed. "Get out of my daughter, whatever you are!" screamed Molly's father right after. Her parents called Father Brofini of their church, and he agreed to come and take a look at Molly. Upon arriving, Father Brofini could see demonic apparitions and shadows dancing around the McKenney's house. A low growl emanated from Molly, sending chills down their spine. "Can you help her, Father?" Molly father asked, his face pale with fear for his daughter. The priest, Father Brofini, started to pray and asked Molly's parents to join him as it will intensify the strength of the prayer. Father Brofini began to prepare and turn out his book that bestowed the rites to exorcism. He was an imposing figure, his face etched with years of battling unseen evils. He listened intently as Molly's parents recounted the horrifying changes. His gaze, sharp and unwavering, settled on Molly. Father Brofini took a step back, his hand instinctively reaching for the crucifix he wore. "In the name of Christ!" Father Brofini called out. Molly's limbs began to twist and rotate in circles like that of a doll, as a deep guttural growl came from her body. "You will never make me leave," the demon yelled out in a very deep and bassy voice that seemed to clap off of the walls. "This entity, it is powerful, ancient," he murmured, his voice heavy with power. The air crackled with tension. A palpable darkness descended, suffocating in its intensity. A cold sweat broke out on Molly's skin. Her head turned, making cracking sounds like splitting wood, her malevolent gaze fixed on the priest. Father Brofini, his face grim, began the ritual. Latin incantations filled the room, each syllable a weapon against the encroaching darkness. He sprinkled holy water, the scent sharp and pure. Molly's writhed in Nunie's grip, her face contorted in a silent scream. The temperature plummeted, the shadows danced more violently, twisting into grotesque shapes. The growl became a deafening roar, shaking the very foundation of the house. Molly screamed, her voice raw with malevolent energy. Her very voice made the furniture in the room seem to move. Father Brofini pressed on, his voice unwavering. The crucifix in his hand glowed with an ethereal light. "You will leave this child be. I cast you out, Nunie. Leave this creature of God now. I command you in the name of Christ. Now go. Leave, Nunie, leave. Back to the pits of hell you go." He boomed, his voice echoing with power. "Begone, foul beast, back to the lake of fire from whence you came." The exorcism seemed to work. The shadows receded, the temperature returned to normal, yet a chilling silence descended upon the house. Molly, however, didn't return to normal. Her gaze became vacant, her words nonsensical. She scratched at her arms, leaving raw red welts. "He's not gone," she would whisper, her voice a hollow rasp. "He's still here, watching, waiting." Her parents, exhausted and terrified, could only watch as their little girl slipped further into the abyss. Every night was a nightmare. Unexplained noises echoed through the house. Objects moved on their own. Cold, clammy hands brushed against their skin in the darkness. The entity's presence, though unseen, was suffocating, a constant reminder of the evil that had taken root. One night, Molly vanished. The only sign, a scrawled message on the wall, written in a childish hand, "He wants to play." They found her in the attic, a place forbidden to her. She sat on the floor, her back to a towering grandfather clock, its pendulum eerily still. "Molly?" her mother whispered, her voice trembling. Molly turned, her eyes blazing with an unholy light. Standing next to her, holding her hand, was Nunie, an 8-foot monstrosity. Its pale, slimy skin was stretched taut over sharp angles, with eyes that were burning pits of fire. A voice, deep and guttural, boomed from the monstrous entity. "She cannot escape me," it hissed. "She is mine." As Molly's body began to slowly levitate, floating in midair like a balloon, the clock began to chime, each clang a hammer blow against their sanity. 12 times it rang, signaling the midnight hour, the hour of reckoning. "It's time, priest, it's time," the demon Nunie taunted the priest. To be continued. Thank you all for watching part 2 of Molly's horrifying story. Welcome to the family, all new subscribers. It's such an honor to call you a Lokk. Please subscribe and hit your notification bell if you haven't already. Be safe out there. And in the words of Father Lokk, always remember and always know that he loved y'all. Bye, family.